welcome back to Assen in the north of Holland for the second race of the day for the MX2 riders. Round 16 of the FIM MX2 Motocross World Championship, and it just got a whole lot tighter between Poes Jonas and Tim Geyser. More on that in just a moment, but for now though, enjoy the local images of where we are in the world this weekend. If you're joining us for the first time today from Assen in the Netherlands, you'll see that this is a road race circuit more famous for MotoGP than it is for motocross. And over the last few days, more than 25,000 cubic meters of sand has been tipped on this circuit. Made use of the grandstands, which are pretty full. The circuit is deep sand. The atmosphere here is building to a crescendo. Glenn Coldenhoff in MX2 and David Puchis Glenn Coldenhoff in MXGP and David Puchis in MX2 up in a moment. The riders for the Netherlands that will get this partisan crowd on their feet and shouting for more. The circuit here, just over 1,500 meters long. The riders are out on their sighting lap, as you can tell from the roar of the bikes in the background. And as they work their way round to complete their lap here, let's take a quick look at what happened a little earlier, just a couple hours ago in MX2 Race 1. It was a good one. The gate dropped here, and it was David Puchis on the Red Bull KTM, his teammate Poes Jonas and Max Anstey, the first three through the first corner. Anstey was right there in third, but it wasn't long before the two KTMs sorted themselves out. The end of the first lap, in fact. Jonas went one way, Puchis went the other. He took a quick look, checked his teammate, thought, right, you go through, you're leading the championship. But it was still a Red Bull KTM 1-2. Max Anstey on the Monster Energy DRT Kawasaki past Puchis. A couple of laps later, got himself into second and then went after Poes Jonas. A mistake from Puchis allowed Julian Lieber through, up into third. And Tim Geyser was slowly on the charge. Eventually, he too found his way past Puchis to get himself up inside the top few places. Max Anstey, though, crashed from second, got on the gas coming out of the turn. The back end came around on him somehow, maybe hit a square edge bump, but he remounted in 14th place, eventually got himself back to 9th. But is that effectively his World Championship over? He's now more than 48 points down on the leaders. He found his way past Jeremy Seewer on his way through. That got him into 9th, which is where he stayed. Valentin Guillot riding with a shoulder injury after crashing in qualifying on Saturday, went off track. And the best he could finish in race 1 was 15th. Julian Lieber came under attack, though, from Tim Geyser, who was hard on the charge. This was the battle for third place. Anton Lundgren falling as they went through. Lieber made a mistake. That allowed Geyser to go through. It wasn't for the lack of effort, though, from Julian Lieber in trying to prevent the Honda rider from going through. The last few laps saw Geyser and Jonas battling for the lead. This mistake costing him dearly, Tim Geyser, but eventually clawed his way back onto the rear wheel of Jonas, who actually had a decision to make: go off track into the unknown or lay the bike down. He laid the bike down and lost what was a 6-second advantage. And that was Geyser going through as a result of that time lost. Thomas Covington was well placed in 5th for much of the race, but that pass, 4 laps to go from Harry Kulas, pushed the American into 6th place. Geyser, though, was leading. Jonas was 2nd, Lieber 3rd, Donick 4th, Kulas 5th, Covington 6th. That's how it finished, and the gap now is just 1 point between Jonas and Geyser. Let's go down to Lisa. Here she is with Max Anstey, who was unlucky in race 1.
Hello and welcome to the second MX2 race of the day. I want to have a quick word with Max Anstey, who knew that I was going to come and talk to him before I even asked. Max, it's a bit of an expensive mistake you made in that first moto.
What, do you really want to know what happened in that race, or do you want to know how I won the last 11 races or so?
I know how you won the last 11 races with great skill and perfection, but let's talk about that first moto. I mean, it's obviously a bit of a touchy subject.
No, I know. You know, myself and my team, we've worked really hard the last few weeks, obviously, to get the bike running really well. Unfortunately, I had a little bit of a problem straight away off the gate. I knew that we had, I don't know if there's an electrical issue or something. It was the bike was not running quite as cleanly as I would have liked to. You know, it's a different conditions, difficult out there. But yeah, and I got into second, and I was like, right, should I back it off and just finish the race, or shall I try and go? And unfortunately, I was having to ride the bike a little bit differently. It was cutting out when I shut off, so bit of a shame. But yeah, and then I obviously ended up going down. But I picked up and rode my own race, and at the end of the day, I'll go as fast as the bike will let me go. So I'm looking forward to the next one. We'll go out and do our thing. They've gone back, changed a few things, so hopefully it'll run. If it does, then we'll be on for a good one.
Good luck, Max. Have a great race. I don't think Max appreciated that question, but nonetheless, I want to speak to the man that is actually leading the championship, and it's crazy because it's now just by 1 point only. It started off by 4 points, now it's just 1. Hi, Stefan. Poes. To have a quick word with Poes Jonas. Still has the red plate, but Poes, just tell us about that first race. I mean, I know the points are starting to close a little bit now.
Yeah, the points are getting closer and closer, you know, but in the first race I got a good start, put a little gap in the first laps, and then made a little crash and lose some, I think 6 or 7 seconds a lap. So, and then yeah, guys were close to me and I couldn't find my rhythm anymore. I was struggling a little bit, but yeah, still we have 1 more moto to go, and track it's rough. It's really tough, and yeah, hopefully I can get the same start as the first race and just do my own race, and yeah, and then it's going to be fine.
Were you aware of Max's mistake behind you?
Oh, that I didn't see actually. Just I saw lap before when I crashed. I think we crashed in the same lap. So he was, I think, 3 seconds behind me, and then yeah, in the same lap I crashed. So yeah, you know, it's easy to make mistakes. You also see in MXGP race many guys crash. So it's easy to crash. Just need to stay on the 2 wheels and do consistent laps.
I mean, you mentioned consistency. That's something that you've really been throughout the whole season. You've yet to win a GP or even a race, in fact, yet you've got the red plate. So it counts for a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, the consistency counts a lot. I have been second for many times, so yeah, I don't have still a win, but yeah, consistency is a key to success. So I'll just try to do, we still have five motos to go, so I will try to do consistent 5 motos, and we will see in the end of the season how it turns out.
Have a good race, Poes. Thank you very much. Time now for MX2 Race 2.
Here's how the riders will line up then as a result of their qualifying race. Harry Kulas on pole for the first time, Anstey second, Jonas third, Brent Van Donnick, Thomas Covington and the rest. On what is a very, very tough race circuit here at Assen. Adam Wheeler, OnTrackOffroad.com, joins me now for the second broadcast as usual. And Adam, first race was pretty interesting, wasn't it? Tightened up at the top of the standings with Geyser taking that victory from Jonas. But Max Anstey almost 50 points down now, as we can see. 449 to the 496 and 497. Expensive mistake for the Brits, possibly in his quest for a world title.
Yeah, 2 big surprises in that moto, Paul. You know, Max Anstey making that crash when, you know, he's so at home in the sand. And also Tim Geyser, what a different rider from yesterday. Yesterday he just didn't have a clue, did he? He was attacking everything, wasn't finding any kind of flow or rhythm. And in that race, it was almost textbook.
Max Anstey on the pre-grid just a moment ago was saying actually that had a problem with the bike as he got to the line, and it wasn't running. It was running a little bit rich as we look at Valentin Gear all the way over on the left-hand side there, obviously nursing that injured shoulder, picked up in the qualifying race yesterday, didn't do great things in race 1. He's now trying to pick up as many points as he can in that battle for 3rd place in the championship, which can still be reachable.
Look at the inside of the gate here. Poes Jonas with a red plate leading the championships. Pick the inside gate. There's some debate among the riders. What's the better place, the inside or the middle? So let's have a look.
Got a lot of room to work with though, because as he gets off the gate, they end up going down the start straight, and there's a lot of room there. And Jonas gets a good start, and Geyser got caught there with another rider. The other rider went down. Geyser stayed up, but Geyser right in the middle of the pack, and the rider going down as well, mid-pack.
But it was Poes.
It might have been Jonas going down. I think it's Jonas gone down on the exit. Yes, Jonas down, and is he lost his front brake?
Yep, cables off front brake.
Oh, number plate, everything gone. This could be a game
There's a
changer.
Honda there as well. It's not Geyser, is it? No.
No, Lapucci, 122. So drama already out of the first turn. Oh, the front brake is absolutely hanging off the front of that KTM. He's going to have to ride a lap. He might have to try and tuck it behind the front plate as well, but he's got 30 minutes plus 2 laps in which to ride without a front brake.
He's going to have to stop. He's going to lose a lot of time in there where they just, you know, cut that thing off or whatever.
It depends if it's broken off of the perch. They're going to have another bracket at hand, in which case they might already be working on the spare bike just to get that off so they can rip it on. But he's going to be almost a lap down when he rejoins the race, if that were the case.
And Tim Geyser, just, you know, a nightmare start like you described. You just wonder if he also saw something going on with Jonas, or, you know, is looking around and thinking, where is that KTM? Good
recovery, because he goes through there, possibly in around about 10th place. Right, split point here. Davy Puchis, Jeremy Sewer, Anstey, Donick, Jacobi, Bernardini, Petrov. There's Geyser in around 10th place, so not a bad recovery. He definitely had a bit of bar banging going on into that first corner. But on the exit, the light blue Alpine Star clothing, and it was either Puchis or Jonas, but we saw the 85 of Puchis grab a Fox hole shot. Process of elimination and all the rest of it. But over the line we go.
It was a good
getting a good start.
It was a good spot by Jonas. If we got a replay of that, just try to see what happened. Puchis making another great start. We know he's not going to be able to hang on.
Well, Jonas, he's obviously managing. Look at that. He's got the front brake underneath his hand, rappelling around by the clutch. Will he come in or will he stay out? Oh, the whole front end just mangled. Look, he's going to have to come in, Adam. I think you're right. More of a distraction like that, and this is already a very tough racetrack. Yeah, Jonas, the championship leader, is in. Going to come in for running repairs. He will keep a cold head. Will they try to change it? Right, cool heads here. They already know what they've got to do. They would have seen it from the images. Yeah. Thought they would have already been ready.
Yeah, Wayne Banks there, and his mechanic, Dirk Grubel as well, the technical, or team manager of MX2 side, so...
It's a short lap here, remember. Just cut it. I remember Tortelli in the first round in Italy at Givero de Montello in 1996. He had a similar problem. He came in, they just took a Stanley knife, cut the brake hose completely, and sent him away. He rode the whole race, 40 minutes plus 2.
Look, the caliper and everything is a mess. Go through the front wheel. He's going to get out again, Paul, but he's going to be at least 2 laps down. It's going to be a nightmare.
It's already a short lap, but look at this. The wall of noise greeting this kid here. Number 85, David Puchis, on that Red Bull KTM over the line. He leads for the first time ever in terms of an actual lap completed, David Puchis. Second, here's Jeremy Sewer. Anstey there in 3rd place. So in terms of Anstey on Jonas, that will claw him some points back. But here he goes back out. No front brake. No number plate, at least he's got a transponder, but he is a lap down, as we would have suggested. A lot of work to do now. He's just going to have to ride through and tag on to these guys, and when they start lapping riders, they'll move out thinking the championship leader is a part of this race.
But also everyone at KTM holding their breaths a little bit, Paul, because, you know, no front brake. How many risks does he take? You don't want to, like, throw something away. We've still got 2 Grand Prix to go after this.
Impressive crowd here at Assen this weekend. Adam Wheeler looking from the grandstands there, but Paul's Jonas with a mountain to climb in this race. This will change the championship completely. The red plate, if it was to stay like this, will be sat on the front of that Garibaldi Honda by the time we head to Mexico.
But to be honest, not by much.
Oh. Covington's down. Can't get the bike started. Out of 16th place. Take another look at the start, Adam, because that's where it all went. So Gio closest to us here. Right, halfway down the straight, Geyser got into a tussle.
Yeah, 243.
With the Kutsar.
Yeah.
It was him who went down.
And where's Jonas then? He's right on the inside. Looks like he might have even just touched the back of his teammate. Look, right on the inside there. There's Jonas, 2nd place.
Just lost the front.
Yeah. No mistake.
Lost the front, went down all by himself, and then bikes hitting the handlebar on the way through.
Yeah, but you know what? It's actually Geyser. It was Geyser that sort of seemed to clip the front brake with his rear wheel there. Sabotage, Paul, on the first lap.
Your words, not mine.
Yeah, but in the championship picture now, it's just trying to see if it's recycling and setting. I mean, it's a disaster for Jonas, but it's still 9 points, 8 points, 10 points, actually, in the championship race.
Yeah, it's still very, very close, yeah.
And Jonas, you know, what are the chances of him getting 1 or 2 here?
Well, he's down in 27th at the moment. What is he? A minute 20 off of the leaders, but in terms of, well, we know he's a lap down, but a long way off. 50 seconds off of points, possibly, in that respect, because he would have been lapped by quite a few guys and has to be making at the time as well. There's Henry Jacobi. He's at the fastest lap a moment ago on what was the end of that first lap with a 1:33.046 on the Saarholz KTM, and he's right there in the thick of it behind Petr Petrov.
Is he the pick on the German team for the Nations?
You would think he would be, wouldn't you? Because who else are they going to have? Nagel?
Shoot, too early?
Possibly, and also injured at the moment after last week. Not
but
here.
He'll be back from Mexico, so plenty of time for him to get ready for the Nations. Oh, nice stuff from Anstey there.
Interesting circuit here, Aston, isn't it? You know, the circuit now really starting to develop more lines. You have to go wide, chase the lines a little bit, as Anstey is doing, but it's very, very deep, treacherous, almost Lommel-like.
Yeah, speaking with Sean Simpson in the break, you know, just after the first MXGP moto, he said, you know, it's a nice track to ride, but it's actually getting worn down to the asphalt in some places.
Right.
He said, you know, you come through and you'd be like, well, because the wheel would actually be touching some of the real slick stuff underneath. So you've got to be careful.
Puches leads, 1.5 seconds. Jeremy C was second, and the guy behind him there, number 99, Max Anstey, Monster Energy DRT, Kawasaki in third place. He said he will go as fast as the bike allows him to go. Had a problem with the bike in the first race, he said. And that may have been a reason, because he said he was riding it differently. The back end snapped around on him. Dixon, his team manager, team owner, says he might have gone down to the asphalt, as you suggested, in which case it spun up and high-sided him. He thinks he might have just caught a hole in the ground or something like that. But either way, he went down, picked himself up, and was in ninth at the end of the race.
He just looped out. It was like a Ryan Villapolo-style crash. He just got too... It's really strange to see how it was caused. We just led too far over the back of the bike and just spat him off.
Yeah, we didn't see it.
But, you know, that was a big moment also in the championship, Paul. We're talking about a guy who's won 3 of the last 4 Grand Prix, and the races he hasn't won have been through those kind of mistakes. In Lockett, he was leading, went down, you know, he was chasing Poes Jonas in second place, was probably looking good for a victory in the first moto and went down again. There is Jonas without that front brake.
Actually, not too difficult to ride without front brake in these kind of conditions, because the sand is very heavy and grabby. And obviously, with it being as technical as that, you can get away with using a bit of back brake. If you're heavily dependent on the front brake, then yes, but, you know, in these kind of conditions, it'd be easier riding without a front brake in these conditions than it would on a hard pack.
Yeah, and also there's not that many kind of corners, like you say, where you really need it. I mean, you're scrubbing off speed coming into those kind of bumps and lumps, so it's... You know,
and in the sand, you need the momentum.
Yeah. But is Jonas, is he going to be too far behind to make up ground and get anything out of this moto?
Well, when you look at the results from race 1 and some of these guys finishing, you know, 15th, Guillaume was a lap down, and obviously other people down there, you know, struggling. So starting to make his way forward, just trying to unlap himself.
He's past
Van Donnick.
So he's been down. He finished a career best first season in MX2, 4th in the first moto, so he's had a nightmare.
Henry Jacobi, the guy he's just passed there, number 29, obviously in 4th place in the race.
So Van Donnick 5th, so yeah, he's unlapping himself, basically.
So he has to.
Yeah.
That's the only way he can go forward. He can't not interfere with their race. He knows he's quicker than them, and he's got a job to do. He's got to get forward, and that means unlapping himself and, you know, getting back on terms.
Well, Van Donnick actually, you know, he's riding pretty well, isn't he? He's going to be in 4th again.
Yeah. Yeah, he could be looking at his first podium. Anstey, actually, unbelievably, he's going to be 3rd overall if he stays where he is on 34 points, and 9th in a second, potentially. But he will want to go after David Puches and get those 3 extra points. Can't do any more than that. That will give him 37. That'll leapfrog him over David Puches as well, because he'll be pushed to 35.
And watching Poes Jonas, he's all the way down in last place, 27th. But he's just ahead of you know, Jacobi for fighting for 4th and 5th, those two there. Here's Anstey. This is a battle for the lead, isn't it?
It is a battle for the lead, and second place in the Grand Prix at the moment, because Puches second on 38, Anstey on 34. They will switch, as we just said a moment ago. Anstey will go to 37, Puches will drop to 35. The difference in points that Anstey will pick up and Puches will lose, but having a great Grand Prix here this weekend, isn't he? Good in qualifying yesterday, got the crowd on their feet with a whole shot, 2 more whole shots today, and Puches, as he comes around this part of the racetrack, oh, and he stalls it!
Got to go electric start.
Whether it's a stall or just a bobble in the corner. But the atmosphere out there for these Dutch kids has to be electric.
Nicely done.
Anstey, though, out on the left. He was down there yesterday, using it to good effect. He'll go wide and square up the inside here. Puches will try to go wide and defensive, but that line has changed somewhat during the course of the 2 races. because you were able to go wide and cut through and rejoin it late apex and make a nice tight turn and almost take the other guy out, but refraining from that, Max Anstey, who set the fastest lap last time around, a 1:32.7 compared to the 34.9, so only a matter of time before he finds his way past Poes.
I'm just wondering also when we're going to get a bit of a charge from Tim Geyser as well. First moto is around this time he's really started to go and plough his way through the top 5, Paul, but maybe, you know, because he didn't ride very well at all yesterday, so has he used up energy? Has he pushed too hard in the first moto? Because
it was an impressive performance, it has to be said. One that nobody really expected him to do, but Anstey, penultimate corner into the final turn. Anstey takes the lead, and he will lead after 6 laps here. He will now try to get his head down and pull away from the rest of the field. Max Anstey, Monster Energy DRT Kawasaki, doing what he'd hoped to have been doing in race 1 before he crashed out of 2nd position. Left himself with a lot of work to do in that first race, eventually coming home in 9th place, but he will still finish on the podium, depending on what Tim Geyser does, of course, and Geyser down in 7th place, and he is effectively the World Championship leader at the moment, Tim Geyser. And look at Poes Jonas, who crashed at the coming out of the first turn, had to come in to disassemble that front brake. He's riding without a front brake, no front number plate. Transponder is obviously working. Teros hanging off of those goggles of his, and he's going after Jeremy Seewer in 3rd to unlap himself, Adam Wheeler.
And Jeremy Seewer also, Paul, in the first moto, not having the best race either, so this is much better from the Swiss. Let's have a look at Anstey just coming through that back section.
Yeah, that was Poes making the mistake. Just a slight bobble, more than a stall, actually, just lost his balance. But Anstey still wasn't able to get the job done there, though, at that point. This was the pass here. Poes went left, Anstey took the shorter, rougher route through the right. Using that tall, rangy frame of his, using those legs to good effect. Good pass from Anstey to the lead.
And Roman Febvre actually pulled after the MXGP motor, saying that it's actually pretty difficult to pass out there. You know, there's one kind of real central... Oh,
well, this is where Anstey has to be careful.
Yeah.
Splits the lappers, though. Golovkin and Ivanov. Ivanov probably thinks it's still Golovkin, but eventually Anstey gets through. Already 3 seconds clear, though. Poes, Seewer 3rd, Vandonic 4th, Jacoby 5th.
Let's have a look behind, because I'm sure that Seewer's right on the back of Poes there. Now there's Poes. Where's the Suzuki? He's got some company with Vandonic.
Tim Geyser just off the back of this battle here. Benoit Paturel ahead of him, number 6 on the Kimiya Yamaha, and the 29 of Henry Jacoby. So Vandonic 4th, Jacoby 5th, Paturel 6th, Geyser there in red in 7th position.
And Jacoby's just fading off a little bit, Paul. 137 on the last lap. The rest of these guys on 35s, low 36s. So you think that Paturel's going to move through in a moment.
Heavy landing there from Geyser. Also, the Kawasaki behind him, Petar Petrov. Bike broke from him in the first race whilst in 7th position. So the circuit tough on a lot of fronts here for the riders and machines, as Jeremy Seewer goes a little bit wide through that left-hander. There's Poes, 2nd in the race. Then we've got the yellow Suzuki of Seewer. This is Jonas, a lap down, remember. 24th place now, obviously finding his way past some of the riders. One of them there, Ivanov.
So how far away is he from point? It's not that far. I mean, we're only halfway through the moto here, so he's still going to close down that gap in the championship. Now 13 points behind Tim Geyser. Came into this Grand Prix, of course, with the red plate. So maybe the damage after, you know, this drama at the start of the 2nd moto here is not going to be that extensive. Obviously, still some racing to go.
And the other problem is as well, you know, it's one thing trying to even catch Jeremy Seewer, to find a way past him. You know, Seewer will think, well, you're interfering with my race, but as we said, he has no choice, does he? Poes Jonas.
And he's also racing for points, isn't he? He's been getting in the top 20. Maybe it's not positions, but it's still racing for something.
Paturel there. Where's Geyser? Geyser lost a lot of ground that time around. In fact, Jacoby has lost ground as well. He's been pushed to 7th because Geyser and Paturel both going through on him.
Vandonic's the first Yamaha. Julian Lieber was top 3 for the first time since quite a few Grand Prix, actually. No, Lomoy was actually top 3, but he's down in 8th place. Didn't get the start this time.
Yeah, Petrov.
Petrov moving up, Petrov 8th, no, Lieber down to 9th. Very cool as pole position yesterday, Paul. Just had the start and rode away, but just hasn't been able to do it today, has he?
No, just found himself past Brian Bogus on the HSF Logistics KTM, but that puts him into 10th place. But here's Jonas all over the back of the Rockstar Energy Suzuki Europe machine of 91. Jeremy Seewer. Seewer, that yellow machine there in 3rd place in the race.
You touched on it a moment ago, but what if you are Jeremy Seewer and you see Jonas, you know, a lap down? What's going through your mind? Are you kind of thinking, well, kind of get out the way?
Well, he probably doesn't know that he's lap down because he was ahead of him going through the first couple of corners, and he rejoined the race behind him. So he probably thinks this is a battle for the race and race position. Right, there's Geyser right at the back of the straight. Doesn't have the same kind of pace as he had in race 1. So did he blow himself out in that first moto? There's a question that needs to be asked, and we'll probably get it later on in the race, because if he starts to fade, he's got to be careful of Petrel and Petrov. And if that's the case, he could be losing vital World Championship points himself. But you see the gap there behind him. He has time in hand.
Well, he's moved up, so he's added another 2 points, and now 15 over Jonas. And we head to the hard pack of Leon next. And, you know, if I had to put any money on a rider there, Paul, it would have to be Geyser. You know, took his first Grand Prix win of the year in almost kind of similar terrain in Arco de Trento and Italy.
Yeah, and those points coming, I think, courtesy of Henry Jacobi crashing out and falling back down to 8th.
Oh.
Pucci's got a mistake, a problem. So David Pucci's out a second. This gifts another couple of points to Tim Geyser in the battle for the race. Now, is it a bike problem or has he tweaked something? It's
hard to tell, isn't it?
Oh, he's landed heavily. I think he might have caught his wrist. He was just grabbing at that right wrist as he went through, and it was his wrist that he was the problem, that he missed Lommel and Mantova. Well, certainly Mantova anyway.
Well, because of that problem, he knew he wasn't going to last the whole motor at that kind of speed, but yeah, more bad luck for the Dutchman. So, also the Red Bull KTM.
Another one. So Geyser then gifted. Right, let's have a look, see if we can make any sense of this. Here's what happened to Puches. Landing off the jump. He's already been off the track at that point.
Okay, so something's happened before then. Didn't even do the jump. If it is a physical problem, he's pulling in here, isn't he?
Yes, he is. And the way that he just went to grab his wrist. But be careful not to get caught there, but he's probably in a bit of pain if that is the case, if it is the right wrist. So David Puches then, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing out of 2nd position. And we will see, we have a camera down there. He comes in now, enters pit lane. He's not going to be going back out on track. Yeah, holding the wrist.
Well, he's got a future in the sport, hasn't he?
Yeah, he
Very
has.
fast. I'm not sure he's tied to Red Bull KTM next year. We're going to see him in MX2, I believe. I'm not sure what his plans are.
Riding with the brace as well.
Yeah. Body language, they can just say maybe just lost some feeling in the race.
Meanwhile, his teammate, Poes Jonas, up to 21st.
So almost close to a point. Jordan Booker just in front of him. One of the British riders. In the Brit Watch, you've got Ben Watson in 12th. 23, he's moved up another place. Obviously, the Puches going out. And Valentin Guillot just behind Paul. I mean, for me, that's one of the big shames as well. One of the talking points from this Grand Prix. Valentin Guillot having that crash yesterday, suffering some kind of like muscular pain to his right shoulder. So he's out of sorts, just trying to pick up points today. But if you look in the World Championship, that's it, pretty much gone.
Well, the championship's done, but in terms of him having any hope of a medal in his final year in MX2, it has to be 3rd place. But with him down there and Anstey running away up front at the moment by 17 seconds over Jeremy Seewer, that just made that job even more harder. But as we've seen with this racetrack, Alan Wheeler, it is a very tough track as Geyser bounces his way through the waves, gets himself onto the rear wheel of Brent Van Donnick now. So he's in 4th place.
Are brakes quite overrated, do you think, Paul?
Sorry?
Brakes are quite overrated.
Brakes? Why is that?
Well, in a sandy track like that, you know, no front brake. You don't crack on and set lap times running with the leaders.
Yeah, Poes Jonas.
Jonas doing a 1:35.
He's in the points, Poes Jonas. Goes past our split time. He has got himself into the points now. So this is where he starts pegging back that deficit.
But also he was the fastest rider on the track on our circulation.
But this is what I said to you, in these kind of conditions, you can get away with that riding with a front brake in the sand because you've got it's almost that inertia effect anyway. As soon as you back off, the heavier the sand, that's like an extra brake anyway.
I mean, it was a good call you made earlier about the sand kind of soaking up and stopping you, because, you know, I've seen that happen to a couple of the riders in some of the bigger landings. You know, they just sort of, the terrain's grabbing the front wheel. You know, you've seen a few people like almost over the bars. It's kind of strange here. I mean, obviously they built the track in 4 days, 4 nights, you know, as the organizer said yesterday in the press conference, and a great job. I think for next year, you probably might see 1 or 2 more corners added just to make it a little longer.
Yeah, they need to give themselves a week really to build the track rather than 4 days, you would think. And where they actually take the final straight into this final loop here, you would anticipate that they go round to the left and maybe use a little bit more over there, a couple more loops over the back possibly to add another 15, 20 seconds.
But I mean, we've seen the
Geyser.
trying to pass Van Donk.
Oh! Hard charge from Geyser, almost going down as he tagged wheels with Brent Van Donk as he moved into 3rd place past the Belgian. This was close, Adam.
And a wave of apology here on the way out as well.
Tried to get in early, but it was Van Donk actually who squared up and straightened up as Geyser was coming through. Great reactions though from the Slovenian.
So that's put him up to 3rd now. Even more points over Jonas, who's desperately trying to get something at the back of the field.
Oh, and all over the back of Siwa now for 2nd position. So this is going to be more vital World Championship points for Tim Geyser. Jonas in 19th now. He's found his way past Jordan Booker. According to our split, there is Booker. In fact, he can't be... yeah, he is. He's just there out of shot, isn't he, I think?
Yeah, 19th place.
There's Jordan Booker. He's just found his way past Booker. So Jonas is only going to be around the next couple of corners or so.
So I wonder what will happen if, you know, Geyser actually can find some speed to try and
lap him.
Yeah.
Again.
He could even try a little tactic like he did on Van Donk there a moment ago. Because this is like, it really is every point counts at the moment, isn't it?
Jonas is about to come over the line now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just behind this.
Jonas, 17th.
Yeah.
So that's 4 points on the board.
Geyser on the limit.
So Anstey then, after 13 laps, has an 18-second advantage over Siwa. Geyser is 3rd. That's the battle here. Geyser looking to pick up more points. Jeremy Siwa not making it easy for Tim Geyser, but a slight bobble there and a good drive from Geyser. Oh, another mistake there from Siwa. Immediately goes defensive into the next right-hander, gets caught behind a back marker. Geyser looking to get the run around the outside.
Well, like we were saying a moment ago, Paul, Geyser has the overall win. I mean, he's got it by a clear, almost 10 points over Max Anstey, but, you know, he knows these are championship points in front of him. He doesn't have to worry about it. He's won the day, but he must be aware that Paul Jonas is doing something, and he needs to reinforce that red plate going into the final 2 rounds.
And obviously, Jonas has arrived at 2 Grand Prix now as the championship leader, and he's not shown any signs of pressure or nerves or anything else. Shoes on the other foot when we go to Mexico. If it stays like this, suddenly red plate on the front of that red Honda. What will he be feeling when he goes to Mexico? He'd have had a couple of weeks to get used to the idea, but not a bad time to pick up the championship leader's red plate. Just means it's just a case of how many points to the good is going to be as he gets held up on that crest.
Moves through though.
Got himself in a second. It was effective. Cleans out Monticelli on the exit.
Jonas up to 16th now, Paul. So for every point that Tim Geyser's making, then Jonas also firing back.
Barring a mistake from Max Anstey, that's as high as Geyser's going to get, because he is, what, about 18 seconds down, something like that. We'll soon find out as Geyser crosses the line. Anstey over the line, Geyser over the line, 19.8 seconds, so almost 20 seconds down. And on Max Anstey.
Yeah, Anstey going to finish 2nd overall in the day. And you said it earlier, Brent Van Donk in 3rd overall at the moment.
And Jonas in 16th is going to be 4 seconds down on oh, and a little bit heavy there was Geyser.
This is the move through, isn't it?
Yeah, good drive there. Then he came up short here. Where was it? Oh yeah, just went too deep somewhere. There, ran off. But he always had the inside line.
And Siwa, for me, just not really attacking anymore, Paul. Maybe just tiring in this moto. He suffered a lot with arm pump yesterday, so...
How much effort did Geyser put into that first race? How is his upper body going to be suffering now? They're both very, very fit athletes. Well, all these guys are.
He's the leader. He's miles ahead, leading 20 seconds, like you said. But I wonder how annoyed he's going to be. You know, 12 points only from the first moto. He's going to finish 2nd overall. And if we can, let's try and pick up that battle for the 3rd place on the podium, because Brent Van Donk is only 1 point away from making you know, a fantastic, you know, maiden podium appearance in his first season in MX2, but Julian Lieber is all over the back of Petr Petrov on the track, and if he passes the Bulgarian, then he's going to make it. So a little bit of a battle of the Yamahas for the final spot on
Jonas
the podium.
up to 16th, 15th now, so that's 6 World Championship points for this guy here.
16 is the gap as well in the standings, and it was 12 a few laps ago.
So he needs to get himself, what, 5th place if
Yeah.
he is to tie it back.
Well, I mean, the only person really who can gain here now, realistically, is Jonas. Where's the rider ahead of him? Let's have a look. It's Kutsa. How far?
15 points the gap, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, 5 seconds ahead. So like you said a moment ago, Geyser's not going to go anywhere unless Anstey makes a mistake. So it's all about Jonas in his last 4 minutes of the moto and how
4
far.
seconds down on Kutsa.
And Gio as well.
Gio's quite a way ahead, though, almost 30 seconds.
So maybe only another point here for the Latvian.
Unless other people drop out.
And we're talking about Geyser trying to, or maybe even lapping Jonas. That's not going to happen, is it? Because there is the former championship leader. And Slovenian's quite far behind now.
Well, this will be the first time that Honda have led the MX2 World Championship since Marvin Muscant in 2009, before he jumped ship to KTM. This time, though, Honda have a little bit more support behind them, because that was the reason before, wasn't it, when Muscant jumped. Honda didn't really support the championship like they are now.
Yeah, I think it's
And it was an injustice from their side, wasn't it?
I don't think it's unfair to say that the CRF was 250L really wasn't the motorcycle of choice for the MX2 category for a number of years.
Also highlights how good a rider Marvin Muscant was to put himself in a leading position in the first place.
Absolutely. Well, Geyser, when he won this year, I mean, like you said with the red plate, he was the first rider for Honda in the category to take a victory since Muscant. I mean, that's quite some time, 6 years.
So Kutsa right ahead of him there. Look, 132 pulls Jonas. Back marker on the left of our screen is Golovkin.
Another point then.
It will be just here, coming out of the first turn. And
so we're +3, so he's got a bit of a gap there.
Geyser, no goggles.
Yeah, that's
A telling sign.
well, also the fact that he's not going to be dragging up to the rear of anybody, is he?
No.
Back marker or...
Probably just feeling it a little bit as well, getting hot out there. It is muggy out there today, isn't it? You know, temperatures in the 20s, but not a lot of air, not a lot of wind. Very humid.
Yeah, it's kind of trapped in, that grandstand as well, just creating a bit of a vacuum. It's great because it, all the crowd, all the noise, the anticipation creates a really nice atmosphere. But like I say, Paul, it is kind of humid.
Back end almost stepping too far out of line there from Tim Geyser. He's got, what, just under 2 minutes plus 2 laps to go. Like I say, not going to be approaching back markers, but or riders ahead of him like Anstey, because Anstey 17 seconds clear. But back markers, you get the wisp of sand here and there. It's right, riders do get used to riding without goggles and suffering the consequences of that. But at the same time, if you go down at this point, sometimes you get a helmet full of sand, and it even drops down into your goggles. But he won't be thinking about that. He'll be just thinking clear track. It might be that he's run out of tear-offs. Or maybe he had a splatter of sweat.
Sorry, but there's Lieber and being passed by Passerelle.
And he has no goggles either, Lieber.
Passerelle takes, what's this the battle for? 6th place. Then that's just going to help Brent Van Donnick even further. 3rd place overall at the moment by just 1 point from Lieber. And Lieber hasn't been on the podium since round 2, I think.
First round.
First round, Qatar. Yep. Signed to ride a Yamaha again next season for the standing construct team.
Yeah, he was in place pretty early, wasn't he?
Yeah, and he's going to be leading the attack pretty much. Obviously, Valentin going moving up to MXGP.
Just trying to think if Kimi or Yamaha have ever had a podium in MX2. I don't think they have.
No.
Luke Stike didn't perform last year when Petrov was there. He didn't get on the podium for him.
Petr Petrov, I think, finished 4th at his home Grand Prix. I'm not sure he was even riding a Yamaha that day. He might have Yamaha or a Suzuki.
Yeah, it would have been Kimi or Yamaha then, actually.
Yeah.
But, yeah, certainly this would be a big weekend for Hans Korvers, the team owner of Kimi or Yamaha, to get their boy home, 172 on the podium. And a great result for Damon Grell as well, wasn't it, in the EMX 250. Started 19th on the first lap of the second race and took the lead and the win to make it a double moto victory on the final lap. He came from 4th to 1st. To win that final round to secure 2nd in the championship and another Kimi Yamaha rider. So they've got those bikes working.
Van Donnik's going to be happy because I know he was disappointed in Lommel. I think, you know, he's a good sand rider, a very strong rider, also in the frame for potentially the Belgian team, the Motocross Nation. So we'll see.
Going after
Sewa.
So looking to pick off third place here, Brent Van Donnik. That would definitely get him on the podium if that was the case. Talking to Marnik Beverts actually just before the start of this race, as the riders were gathering down there in the waiting zone, and you know, said it was good performance from Brent and obviously Damon, and he said, yeah, the fitness, both guys are fit. He said they have the fitness. If you don't have the fitness here, it will tell. The arms go, the head goes, but echoing what we said here, you know, and also if you can't ride the sand, which clearly Brent Van Donnik can.
I think what Kamiya Yamaha have done in 2015 is fantastic. They've taken 2 young riders, 2 rookies in Grand Prix, and they've been regularly in the top 10. And Marnik Beverts has done some fantastic work there. It's a real testament to how they've approached the whole program. They've got like technical support from, you know, Michele Rinaldi and his Yamaha crew.
Jonas,
so,
9 seconds, 8 seconds behind Valentin Guillot with 2 laps to go. And lap times between those 2 guys, Jonas a 39, and last time around it was a 45 for Guillot. So he might even be able to get 13th here in the closing stages.
And coming across the line, that gap in the World Championship down from 16 to 14 points. Have a look. 518 for Geyser, 504 for Jonas. So it's just moving around all the time like these guys on the track.
There's Petrov in the background as well. He's not gone away, and Van Donnik just losing vital ground to Jeremy Sewa there, and can't afford to lose any more because Petrov will be taking an extra point or 2 away. There's Covington. He is ahead of Guillot. And Guillot not over the line yet. Bernardini looks across to his right. Bernardini 11th, and Covington takes 11th from the Italian, but the Italian fighting back.
Good ride by Covington as well.
Good ride from Bernardini, actually. He's been, you know, 5th in race, or 6th in race 1, wasn't he, Covington, but having to ride through the field because he had that problem early on, couldn't get that bike started. There's Anstey. Just behind him being lapped is Valentin Guillot, and right behind him is Paul's Jonas. So there's Guillot, and flashing in now, there is Jonas. So that on the final lap, this will be the final lap for Jonas. He will not be getting that extra lap. So Anstey has obviously lapped Jonas twice, because he was already a lap down, wasn't he? And he's obviously come from behind and taken him again. So
yeah, more important, the repercussions, like you say, he's going to miss that extra time, isn't he?
That extra lap could be important because Covington not too far up the track either. Well, 15 seconds actually, but there's Guillot, here's Jonas. Jonas needs to pass the 92 to pick another point here and reduce that gap further to Tim Geyser, who will be the new championship leader with 2 rounds to go.
Guillot, who was in the World Championship hunt even up until yesterday.
And he's going to go by him here. Look, he's a sitting duck, is Valentin Guillot, easily through in the end for Paul's Jonas, and that will put him up into 13th place. So 8 points on the board for Jonas. Talk about a salvage operation, Adam. Going after Max Anstey, look, trying to unlap himself.
Yeah, good race awareness there. If you can just like, he's not going to pass the Kawasaki before the finish line, is he?
He's not going to run out of time, and Anstey's not going to want to move out of the way for him either, is he? Checkered flag goes out. Anstey does win race 2. Jonas runs out of time, and no front brake. Look, for the whole of that race, good effort, good performance from the Red Bull KTM rider. Takes a look over. Did I get on the podium? No, you didn't. You finished 6th overall. 30 points. So Anstey will look at that and think, I still have a chance of getting 2nd in the championship, maybe. But Geyser 2nd in the race, and that's going to be good enough for the overall look as he celebrates his 5th Grand Prix victory of the season. 47 points, a win and a 2nd. Sewa 3rd in the race, Van Donnik 4th, and that gets him his first podium in MX2 and the first ever for Kamiya Yamaha Yamaluke as well.
Last time we saw a Belgian rider on the podium in MX2? It's got to be some time as well, isn't it? It's a good shout. I can't think of anyone off the top of my head, Paul.
Off the top of my head, at the moment, MX2, we're talking people like Patrick Capps, aren't we, potentially? But that was 125 days.
It's difficult. Oh, well, I guess it's Lieber, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, Lieber would have been, yeah.
Lieber,
2nd in
first Grand Prix of the year, yeah.
Anyway, Adam, thanks for joining us. We'll see you in the booth for MXGP. race 2. But let's just give you a quick recap on the results here. So Anstey wins the race, Geyser second, but that is enough for him to win the overall here this weekend. And here he is getting ready to speak to Lisa Leyland.
Tim Geyser, congratulations, your 5th Grand Prix victory of the season. You seem pretty happy.
Yeah, I'm really happy. You know, I didn't expect that in sand. You know, actually, I'm more hardback rider. But anyway, we make some good testing, some good training in the sand, and I think it pays off. So I'm really happy. I just want to say thank you to all my team. You know, they are standing behind me 100%, 110%. So they're working really hard, and the bike is getting better and better. And of course, my family, and especially my dad and my brother. I'm so happy right now. Thank you very much.
Congratulations. Thank you, Tim.
Tim Geyser, second overall, second in the race, sorry, behind Max Anstey, but it's enough to get him the overall victory here. He beats Anstey by 10 points this weekend. So Anstey just losing a little bit of ground. He gained some on Poes Jonas, 7 points in fact, which not too bad considering he fell in the first race and got himself back to 9th. But Tim Geyser, a winner for the 5th time in MX2 in 2015, and Gary Body Honda. Here's how the overall looked then today. Tim Geyser, your overall winner. 47 points for him. Anstey second overall. What could have been for the Brit? Van Donnick third, Lieber fourth. Sewa, Jonas, good recovery for him. 6th overall. Kulas and Patrao, your top 8. Covington 9th overall this weekend. Brian Borges 10. Then it's Watson, Petrov, Guillot, Puches, Kutsar, Monticelli, Bernardini, Lundgren, Jacobi, and Mika de Waal. Just look at the track, how heavy it is. World Championship standings now look like this, though. 5:18, 13 clear, and the new championship leader, the red plate, will go on to the front of Tim Geyser's Honda. Sewa now up into 5th place, ahead of Hurlings. But Poes Jonas no longer the championship leader. Anstey still 3rd, of course. Still not over by a long way, is it? Tim Geyser saying hardpack is his favourite surface. Didn't expect to win here. Therefore, probably didn't expect to be taking over the lead of the championship either. But he has done. So what will he do in Mexico at the penultimate round? Foxhole shot went to Davy Puches once again. But look at the carnage behind him. Jonas going down out of sight. But Davy Puches, Bingo Rolfson, handing him the black plate. 2 of those in one day for Davy Puches. And in the Foxhole shot classification, it's still Tonkov, Hurlings and Anstey all on 6. Let's go down to the podium then, as a little bit of work goes on down on track. 3rd overall this weekend, his first ever 3rd place finish and 3rd overall in a Grand Prix. And look at the smile from Brent Van Donnick, the Kimiya Yamaha Yamalube rider, realising a dream here this weekend. There would have been a lot of Belgians here to see that as well. Max Anstey, Monster Energy DRT Kawasaki, salvage operation for him as well, 2nd overall. He'll be pleased with that, but he will not be pleased about the first race. But Tim Geyser, a 2nd and a 1st, or a 1st and a 2nd. sees him take 47 points and a 5th Grand Prix victory for Honda Garibaldi. There's Giacomo Garibaldi to the left as well. He's having a dream season, isn't he? Now looking at possibly picking up a world title, but 2 rounds to go. Still a long way to go. Jos Vassant, the former FIM president, handing the 3rd place trophy to Brent van Donnik. Good ride, fella, good ride. Massive day for him and a big step forward in his career. Henk Brink hands the 2nd place trophy to Max Anstey. Yeah, not bothered. Knows it could have been so much different and knows he's lost vital ground as well. And with 2 rounds to go, it's more and more difficult to make up those points. Dr. Wolfgang Schrub, the FIM Europe president, though, hands the winner's trophy to Tim Geyser. And what a way to take over the championship lead as well. And with a win here in the deep sand of Holland in your least favourite surface. Giacomo Garibaldi gets the winner's trophy from Tim Coronel, Dakar driver. That one will look even better on the mantelpiece, I'm sure, Mr. Garibaldi. And the red plate, delivered by Tony Skillington, the FIM CMS director. Tim Geyser, Honda Garibaldi is the new World Championship leader in MX2 with 2 rounds to go. What a day it has been here. And look at the faces there. Anstey's trying to raise a smile. Geyser beaming. So too Brent van Donnik. National anthem for Tim Geyser and Slovenia for the 5th time this year. Tim Geyser gets his hands on the World Championship leader's red plate. With a win here at Assen in the Netherlands, Max Anstey loses 10 points in his fight for the title, but gains 7 on Poes Jonas at the same time. And Brent van Donnik, his 1st ever podium, 1st ever result inside the top 3 in a race as well. And Max Anstey causing carnage up there on the top step of the podium as well. But what a day here in Assen. Second MX2 race got off to an explosive start. Geyser didn't make a great start. He tangled down the straight with Karel Kutsar. Jonas went down in turn 1. Jacoby, though, was fast out of the blocks, but eventually he would fade down the order. But all eyes were on Jonas as he tried to carve his way through the field. Geyser as he went after the championship leader's red plate. Brent van Donnik as he went in search of his best ever finish and 1st career podium in MX2. And Max Anstey just looking for more points as he continues to fight for the MX2 world title. In the end, no, it was a win for Anstey. Geyser was 2nd, Seawer 3rd, Van Donnik 4th, Petrov was 5th. And the podium here this weekend was Van Donnik in 3rd, 2nd for Anstey, and Tim Geyser, your overall winner on the Honda Garibaldi machine, is getting ready to speak to Lisa Leyland. Let's hear what he has to say now after the podium.
Tim Geyser, congratulations. I know you're showing everyone the red plate. First time Honda's actually led an MX2 championship since Marvin Muscan in 2009, and you're the next one.
Yeah, I'm really happy. Like I said before, you know, it was just amazing weekend. The start was not so good. I had many crashes yesterday, big one. Yeah, the start of the weekend was not the best, but anyway, today I think we have 2 solid start, and then riding was really good. You know, first race coming from behind to the first place, and then second race also didn't have the best start, but you know, that sport, it can happen. So I'm really happy one more time, and just want to say thank you to all my team, you know, and yeah, all my family, everybody. Thank you.
Congratulations, Tim. Thank you. Matt Anstey, second overall today. Max, just tell us about your day. Mixed emotions, because I know you lost a few points, but yeah, you gained a podium. 2 different races there as well for you.
Yeah, it was a difficult day. We had a few issues, and even in the second one, I was struggling with about 10 minutes to go. I don't know whether it was just the conditions here or what, but I don't know, it was our fuel going against the enclosed area here, but we seemed to struggle and lose a lot of power. So it was a shame, but you know, we're learning, and it's the way it's gone. We've had a lot of good weeks, and at the end of the day, I just go out and ride and do my races and do my work and see where it puts me. So yep, be nice. Got to do another race next week, and then off to Mexico and America. So it'll be good fun.
Thank you, Max. Yes. Max Anstey, second overall today. And we have Brent Van Donnick with tears in his eyes. Brent, first podium on MX2, and obviously it means a lot to you.
Yeah, it's really special for me because normally I wasn't a GP rider this year. So my first year and a podium, that's just awesome. You know, I know I'm a sand rider, but it was not easy. The track was brutal, and had a good first heat. Second heat, I even didn't know that I was on the podium, but yeah, when I finished, they ride it on the pit board, and just so happy, you know. Now I'm now tired, sorry, and I hope there is more to come in the next years, but we will see. I want to thank my team, Kimiya Yamaloop. It's just awesome. I had a really good year with that, guys, and I'm happy that I can stay. And yeah, thanks everybody.
Well deserved, Brent. Enjoy your moment. Thank you.
Brent Van Donnick finished third in the race, secured himself a first ever podium in MX2. He does it here in the deep sand of Assen. Of course, all imported, of course, this weekend, but it was a tough, brutal circuit. His words, not mine. His first ever podium, and also that of the team as well, Kimiya Yamaloop. Max Anstey, 9th in race 1, the clear winner in race 2, but just 1 or 2 problems, he said, this weekend. Had to be content with second. Still could mathematically do it, but he has left himself more of an uphill challenge now as we go into the final 2 rounds. But what about Tim Geyser? The Honda Garibaldi rider in his least favourite conditions. A win in a second for the Slovenian secures him the championship leader's red plates. And the top step of the podium for the 5th time in 2015. He will look forward to going to the hard pack of Mexico in 2 weeks' time. Still a great atmosphere here out on track. The bleachers pretty full down the start-finish straight here of this Assen TT circuit, with 1 race still to come, of course. That will be MXGP Race 2. See you in a moment.